Welcome to Ask Prep, your trusted companion for NEET and JEE preparation. Today we will study about a very important topic of biology, which is reproduction in organisms, asexual and sexual reproduction, lifespan. To begin understanding reproduction, we must first recognize that all organisms have a lifespan. The lifespan is the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. Interestingly, the lifespan varies greatly across species. A mayfly, for instance, may live for just 1 day, whereas a giant tortoise may live for over 100 years. Yet, irrespective of the duration, every organism must reproduce before the end of its lifespan if its species is to continue. Reproduction in organisms can be broadly classified into two types: asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is the mode of reproduction in which a single parent is capable of producing offspring without the involvement of gametes. This means there is no fusion of cells, and the offspring are genetically identical to the parent. This type of reproduction is commonly seen in unicellular organisms like bacteria and protozoa, as well as in some multicellular organisms like hydra, sponges, and certain plants. One of the most common forms of asexual reproduction is binary fission, where a single cell divides into two identical daughter cells. This is observed in amoeba and bacteria. Another form is budding, as seen in hydra and yeast, where a small outgrowth called a bud develops on the parent organism, grows, and eventually detaches to become an independent organism. Fragmentation is yet another method seen in organisms like Spirogyra, where the body breaks into pieces, and each fragment develops into a new individual. Some organisms also use spore formation, especially fungi, where spores are produced and dispersed, giving rise to new individuals in favorable conditions. In plants, asexual reproduction often occurs through vegetative propagation. This involves the growth of new plants from vegetative parts like roots, stems, and leaves. Examples include the growth of new potato plants from tubers or the sprouting of new shoots from the margins of bryophyllum leaves. Asexual reproduction is generally rapid and energy efficient, as there is no need to search for a mate or invest energy in producing gametes. However, asexual reproduction has a limitation: it does not create genetic variation. All offspring are clones, meaning they are exact copies of the parent. This becomes a disadvantage in changing environments, where lack of variation can reduce adaptability. This is where sexual reproduction plays a critical role. Sexual reproduction involves the formation and fusion of male and female gametes. It generally requires two parents and results in offspring that are genetically different from each other and from their parents. This variation is the raw material for evolution and plays a significant role in the survival of species in diverse and changing environments. Although more complex and energy-intensive, sexual reproduction allows for greater adaptability and long-term stability of species. In sexual reproduction, organisms undergo three main phases: pre-fertilisation, fertilisation, and post-fertilisation. The pre-fertilisation events include gametogenesis, which is the formation of gametes, and gamete transfer. Gametogenesis involves the formation of male and female gametes, which are usually haploid. In animals, these gametes are called sperm and ovum. Once the gametes are formed, the next challenge is bringing them together for fertilization. In many organisms, especially animals, specialized structures and behaviors have evolved to ensure successful transfer and fusion of gametes. Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gametes, resulting in the formation of a diploid zygote. This can occur externally, as in many aquatic animals like frogs and fish, or internally, as in reptiles, birds, and mammals. Internal fertilization offers the advantage of protection to the developing embryo but requires complex reproductive systems. Post-fertilization events include the development of the zygote into a new individual. The zygote undergoes multiple cell divisions and differentiation to form an embryo, which continues to develop until it becomes a fully formed organism. The reproductive process is also closely linked with the life cycle of an organism. Different species have different reproductive strategies and timing. Some organisms are seasonal breeders, reproducing only during specific times of the year when environmental conditions are favorable. Others may reproduce throughout the year. The maturity of an organism, which is the age or stage when it becomes capable of reproduction, is another important factor. For example, humans typically reach reproductive maturity during adolescence, while some plants may take several years before flowering and reproducing. Certain organisms reproduce only once in their lifetime. These are called monocarpy or semilparous organisms. Examples include the bamboo plant, which flowers once after many years and then dies, or the Pacific salmon, which reproduces once and then perishes. On the other hand, there are iteroparous organisms that reproduce multiple times during their lifespan. Most mammals, including humans, fall into this category. Reproductive behavior and strategies have evolved based on the ecological niche of the organism. For instance, organisms with short lifespans and high mortality rates tend to produce a large number of offspring to ensure survival of at least a few. In contrast, organisms with longer lifespans and better parental care may produce fewer offspring but invest more in their survival and development. As students preparing for NEET and JEE, it's essential to understand not just the facts but the concepts behind these biological processes. Reproduction is not just about making copies of organisms, it's about passing on life, about continuity, about change, and about survival. Every cell division, every gamete formation, every flowering plant, and every birth is a testament to the elegance of nature's blueprint. Thank you so much for being a part of the Ask Prep community. We truly appreciate your time and dedication to learning, especially when it comes to mastering biology, a subject that's not only essential for exams like NEET and JEE. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends who are also preparing, and make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an update.